Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera dan salam UiTM Dihatiku. To our dear participants, thank you for being patient with us. We are waiting for our invited guests to join our webinar.
So, Cik Nik Nur, siapa nama? Tak nampak penuh.
Nik Nur Najwa.
Nik Nur Najwa. Okay, just a few inilah administrative matters. Siapa yang akan show the slide? Saya ke? Ke siapa? Macam mana?
Mr. Rudy yang akan handle slide.
Okay, boleh.
Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera dan salam UiTM Dihatiku. To our dear participants, thank you for being patient with us. We are waiting for our invited guests to join our webinar. Attention to all. Before we begin our webinar, kindly turn off the microphone while the webinar in progress, and all participants are encouraged to open the camera for better rapport. For your information, the attendance, e-certificate, and feedback link will be provided at the end of the session. Please stay with us until the end of the session. Thank you. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera dan salam UiTM Dihatiku. Thank you dear participants to join. Will be patient with us. We are waiting for our invited guests to join our webinar. Attention to all, before we begin our webinar, kindly turn off the microphone while the webinar in progress, and all participants are encouraged to open the camera for better rapport. For your information, the attendance, e-certificate, and feedback link will be provided at the end of the session. Please stay with us until the end of the session. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good evening. Honorable guest, Dr. Nik Fakru Hazri bin Nik Hassan, Head of School, Faculty of Business and Management, Dr. Wan Asri bin Wan Abdul Aziz, Program Coordinator of Bachelor, Faculty of Business and Management, Madam Zuraida binti Muhammad, Program Coordinator of Diploma, Faculty of Business and Management, Madam Nur Muslimah Kamilah Abdullah and Madam Nik Nur Afizah binti Azlan, Webinars Advisor. Mr. Rudyanto Azhar, Webinars Distinguished Speaker. Special guest from Iskandar Regional Development Authority, IRDA, Muhammad Hairul Nizam bin Arba'i, Project Leader of Collaborative Teaching Innovation for Sustainable Operation by Iskandar Malaysia, lecturers of OPM Suite 33 from Dungun, Puncak Alam and Sungai Petani Campus. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Nik Nur Najwa binti Nik Muhammad Kamal as a moderator for today's webinar. Welcome to our webinar and thank you for having us this evening. Bunga mawar cantik tersemat, dipetik gadis di tepi titi. Doa dibaca memohon rahmat, moga majlis sentiasa diberkati. I would like to call upon Muhammad Zahiruddin bin Abdul Razak for doa recital. Please welcome.
الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مباركا مرحوما، وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا مباركا معصوما، ولا تجعل اللهم فينا ولا معنا شقيا ولا محروما. ربنا عليك توكلنا وإليك أنبنا وإليك المصير. اللهم طول أعمارنا وصحح أجسادنا وثبت إيماننا ووسع أرزاقنا وحسن أخلاقنا ونور قلوبنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اجعل من أهل الخير واجعلنا من أهل البركة واجعلنا من أهل المغفرة. اللهم اجعلنا من أهل الجنة واجعلنا من أهل الفردوس الأعلى برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اجعل مجلسنا هذا مجلسا مباركا لأصحابنا وأهلنا وجيراننا وضيوفنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you, Muhammad Zahiruddin, for doa recital. May this webinar be blessed with barakah and afiyah. Next, I am cordially inviting Dr. Nik Fakru Hazri bin Nik Hassan, Head of School, Faculty of Business and Management, to deliver his officiating speech. Please welcome, Doctor.
Thank you for our moderator for tonight. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening and salam UiTM Dihatiku. Dr. Wan Asri bin Wan Abdul Aziz, coordinator for degree program, Faculty of Business and Management. Madam Zuraida binti Muhammad, coordinator for diploma program, Faculty of Business and Management. Madam Nur Muslimah Kamilah binti Abdullah, and also Madam Nik Nur Afizah binti Adlan as a webinar advisor. Mr. Rudyanto Azhar, distinguished speaker for webinar collaborative teaching innovation for sustainable operations by Iskandar Malaysia. Muhammad Hairul Nizam as the project leader for our webinar for tonight. Lecturers of OPM 633 from Dungun, Puncak Alam and Sungai Petani campus. Distinguished guests from Iskandar Regional Development Authority, lecturers, students, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to welcome to all participants and lecturers who are willing to attend the webinar tonight on this wonderful evening. Congratulations to the organizer for having worked hard to make this webinar success that can benefit to students as well as to the lecturer also. The title of our webinar today is about sustainability, and which is aligned with the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goal (SDG). It is the responsibility to all of us to guarantee future generations so that they are able to get all the basic needs they need and achieve a balance in the three dimensions of the system development, which include social, economies, and environmental. It is aligned with the sustainable operation management course taken by operation management students. On top of that, this webinar can educate participants about strategies carried out by Iskandar Regional Development Authority towards sustainability through the Low Carbon Society project initiative by innovating the public transport sector. I'm sure it will be a fruitful and knowledgeable section that can become value added to the student from Battlefield campus and universities. I also firm that this webinar can open out our mind to solidarity participants in protecting the environment and taking care of the planet where the pursuit economy grow and development towards to the status of the development and high income country. I would like to express my deep Rudyanto Azhar for his willingness in spending time and sharing the knowledge and also experience with all of us. I also thankful and having him today and become industry practitioner and academician should work close to each other toward quality human capital. Not to forget students from UiTM Cawangan Selangor, campus Puncak Alam, and UiTM Cawangan Kedah, campus Sungai Petani for being with us tonight. I hope that this inter-campus program can strengthen and relationship even through the we are geography apart. Kalau padi, katakan padi, jangan buat kami ternanti-nanti. Without delay, with the Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and full of the respect, I inaugurate the collaborative teaching webinar Innovation for Sustainable Operations by Iskandar Malaysia. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sekian dan salam UiTM Dihatiku.
Alhamdulillah, thank you very much Dr. Nik Fatul Hazri for a shade officiating speech. Kepekan Kuala membeli bingka, Sayang pesanan terlupa sudah. Majlis bermula tirai dibuka dengan alunan madah yang indah. It is our pleasure to welcome all guests and participants to our webinar, Collaborative Teaching Innovation for Sustainable Operations by ISKANDAR Malaysia. The purpose of today's webinar is to provide more knowledge and understanding regarding the strategy that implemented by Iskandar Regional Development Authority (IRDA) in maintaining sustainability towards the environment by innovating the concept of sustainability in the project implementation. Before passing the session to our distinguished speaker, let me share a bit information about his profile. Our distinguished speaker is Mr. Rudyanto Azhar. Apa khabar Mr. Rudyanto?
Baik, Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you for joining our webinar and willing to share some of your knowledge with all of us. Okay, let me continue reading Mr. Rudyanto profile. Mr. Rudyanto Azhar is the director of Iskandar Malaysia Basransi IMBRT. He holds a master degree in management from University Malaya and a degree in accounting and finance from University of Kent at Canterbury, United Kingdom. Mr. Rudyanto started his career at Maybank and then has continued his career as a management consultant at Deloitte. In 2010, Mr. Rudyanto has worked at the Suruhanjaya Pengangkutan Awan Darat (SPAD) and also joining Prasarana Malaysia Berhad. Mr. Rudyanto also was appointed as the first CEO of Prasarana Integrated Development Senjam Berhad. With his experience, Mr. Rudyanto continued his career with MRT Corporation, where Mr. Rudyanto has in charge of planning, construction and service. The success and achievements gained by Mr. Rudyanto Azhar is a proof that he is an experienced and knowledgeable person who is very committed and accountable with a clear vision. I hope his explicit, implicit, and tacit knowledge can inspire us. Before inviting our panel to deliver his speech, here is friendly reminder to all participants. The attendance link, e-certificate, and feedback form will be provided at the end of this webinar. Should you have any questions, please type on the chat box. Without further ado, please welcome our distinguished speaker, Mr. Rudyanto Azhar, to deliver his speech titled Collaborative Teaching Innovation for Sustainable Operations by Iskandar Malaysia. The floor is yours, Mr. Rudyanto.
Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Cik Nur Najwa, juga kepada Dr. Nick Fakrul Hazi, lecturers and advisors. Thank you so much for inviting IRDA for this inaugural session. Kalau Dr. and student semua nampak dalam kamera ni, sebenarnya saya duk senyum dari tadi sebenarnya because you all have been berpantun-pantun. So I think I do message dengan my team pun ada juga dekat sini, a few of them. Siapa, Nizam ada, Afiq ada, a few of us kat sini, doktor. Do message, macam mana nak jawab pantun ni, kita orang tak pandai lah. So anyway, that is some innovation on our part nanti. Next time kena get ready jugalah 2-3 pantun pembuka. Tapi mungkin 2-3 kucing berlari, terima kasih kerana jemput kami. So dekat situ dulu as a start. So I am going to take over the slide. So please bear with me for a while. So I'll just present now, yeah. Present now. Window. There you go. Can you see this? Boleh nampak?
Mr. Rudyanto. Boleh nampak.
Boleh nampak, and I guess I have to put this on full screen, yes? Is that how you can see this?
Tak nampak full screen, nampak dekat slideshow je. Macam
Nampak dekat slideshow sahaja.
Open.
Stop presenting. Okay. Yep, there you go. Entire screen. Okay. So what are you seeing now? No screen, right?
Sekejap. Ni share screen Google Meet kan?
Google Meet. Screen. Oh, okay. So this is not how it is. It should be lain sikit. Okay, can you see this?
Boleh dah. Boleh.
Boleh semua Okay, let us start. Okay, Yang Berusaha, Dr. Nick dan lecturers and advisors, I will go through a couple of items in our sharing today. If you look at the key questions and takeaways that we have here, we have divided into three parts. The first part will be more of us understanding the whole picture of Iskandar Malaysia itself, and then we will be going straight into the crux of the topic today. The crux of the topic today will be the innovation for sustainable operations from the case study of Iskandar Rapid Transit. So we are going to look at the first question is being sustainable still an option? What is being sustainable meant to Iskandar Malaysia? And from there, I would like to take the discussion into a bit more specific in terms of innovation, the role of innovation, as well as how we implement innovation in public transport operations. So that will cover number 2, and then number 3 as a summary. Then we will talk about in a greater context how to go about implementing public transport while having innovation in Iskandar Malaysia. Now, my plan is, as we go through session 1 or part 1, and then we will pause for a while. Maybe, if possible, then we can take 2 or 3 questions, and then from there we can see 2 and 3 how the acceptance of everybody here lah. All right. Now, clear? Boleh?
Boleh Rudy.
Okay. Because actually I can't see everybody, I just can see my screen. So please respond, and or if you have questions, just shoot your question away. Now, what is sustainable public transport in Iskandar Malaysia, and how do we look at it from the needs of the people. Yeah. So let me introduce Iskandar Malaysia first. As you see here, Iskandar Malaysia is actually first and foremost an economic development corridor established in 2006. At that time, there was only one. There was only Iskandar Regional Development Authority, and then after that, if you can see, a few more corridors came up. For example, over there in the East Coast, there is now East Coast Economic Region. In the north, ada Koridor Utara, NCIA, and then in Sabah and Sarawak, they have Sedia and this SCORE. Okay, how did this corridor come about? This is not a new idea, a corridor. If you remember, in the early days, masa Allahyarham Tun Abdul Razak started off with, Felcra, Felda, and all that. That is an idea about developing an area specific, Felda, Kejora, and all that. And how do we develop a specific area for a specific purpose? More of in the konteks sekarang ni, mengurangkan kesenjangan di antara luar bandar dengan bandar. So that was the initial idea. And then a little bit forward, then we had Kuala Lumpur being developed together with the adjoining cities, Subang Jaya, Petaling Jaya, Setiawangsa, and all that, Pandan, Okay, so that is another idea of developing a city together with its adjoining towns like Subang Jaya and all that. So apart from Kuala Lumpur plus the other towns, they call it Klang Valley, we also have Penang. You see, Penang and the adjoining bandar. Same goes to Johor Bahru. Yeah, so that was during Tun Mahathir. Yeah, so bila Pak Lah came in, so then the idea of corridor came about. So the first corridor was in southern Johor. Yeah, dulu kita panggil SJER, Southern Johor Economic Corridor, and then tukar kepada Iskandar Regional Development Authority. The size is 2,200 and 17 kilometers square. That is 3 times the size of Singapore. The main idea of developing this area has been quite clear since 2006. Our vision is to become a strong and sustainable metropolis of international standing. If you notice, the word sustainable has been there since 2006. Masa tu kita dah very clear dah. To move forward, to be a developed country, the cities must be sustainable. Okay, right. So how do we become sustainable? In our plan, we look at these 3 circles of sustainability. The one on the left, let's focus the blue circle first, wealth generation. So we believe that in order to grow this region, we need to bring in investment. We need to create jobs. We need to create opportunities for people to grow, to earn. So we have to bring in investment, whether from domestic or from foreign. So once we create that wealth, once we create the job, once we create all these economic activities, what we need to do next is the one on the right side, the orange-yellow circle, which is sharing those wealth with the people within the region. This is really clear for us to bridge the gap between the rural and the urban population, being inclusive. being inclusive has been there since 2006. Yep. And from here, we understand that a lot of communities outside the cities, they have different way of in a way different way of living, different priorities. They have different outlook in terms of what is enough, what is not enough, in terms of their especially their priorities lah. So a lot of the communities outside the city, they strive by what do they have surrounding them. For example, penduduk di Kampung Sungai Melayu, they have been living off the rezeki yang ada around them. Whatever that they can catch from the river, whatever that they can plant. So having us, IRDA, having us bringing in investment, we need to also look after the environment. So the green circle there, resource optimization, is actually making sure that while we have the investors coming in, we must make sure that all khazanah alam are being well taken care of, because not only that we are also concerned of all this GHG, water quality and all that, but we also respect the local communities who have been living off the nature that surrounding them. So when we want to develop this region, if you can see the map on the right, we have mapped out the development into 6 core areas. We call them flagships. So flagship A in Bandar Johor Bahru, flagship B Iskandar Puteri, that's where Legoland is, kalau you ada pernah sampai kat sini. And then flagship C, these are the ports Tanjung Pelepas, ada Tanjung Bin. And then D, sebelah kanan, the Pasir Gudang and Tanjung Langsat, that's D. And then move to a little bit to the north, where the airport is, flagship E, Senai and Skudai. And then flagship F, Sedenak, way up north. So why do we have these different flagships? Because we want to focus on different economic activities. For example, flagship A and B would be on the services, flagship C more industries that's related to ports, D more of chemical, petrochemical and all that. Senai, Skudai, flagship E, there will be lots of industries, electronic and electricals, and then the latest one, flagship F, Sedenak, we will be focusing on mostly now on agrotech. Yeah, so this is how we entice, and this is how we bring in investment according to areas. Now, moving forward, over the years, we have a comprehensive development plan as our strategic document. Yeah, initially, our target, if you look at column 3, 2025 target, that these are our initial target. Yeah, our initial target investment of 383 billion ringgit. Yeah, from 2006 to 2025. Yeah, that's like what 15-20 years. Yeah, so by December 2022, column on the left, we already achieved 375 or close to 376 billion. Yeah, 2022 we achieved 376 billion, almost there towards 2025 target. Therefore, we have revised our target for 2030. For 2030, we target to achieve double that, 636 billion. So that's the investment that we are looking at. the size, the volume of investment. Yeah. Now, moving down a little bit, that we also look at the growth, GDP growth rate, income per capita, GDP per capita. The second layer, the wealth sharing and inclusiveness, we look at employment. We look at how the growth being shared, yeah. And then the third layer, resource optimization. This is where would be relevant to our discussion today, which is on sustainability per se. There are lots of ways to measure. One of the key measurements is actually on greenhouse gas emission. So 2025, kita target to reduce 58% of GHG emission from 2010 as a baseline. However, by 2019, we only achieved 19.7, but that hasn't put us in the back seat. We have done quite a lot of activities and programs. If you look at the middle column there, I will cover this later. Therefore, with this, we believe that we need to target higher, 70% by 2030. Yeah. So that's how we measure and monitor ourselves. Now, focusing on sustainability, the next few slides, I've borrowed from Global Compact Network Malaysia and Brunei under the United Nations umbrella. What does it say here? It is clear that climate change is real. The target, the global target, yeah, to avoid temperature increase, increase of 1.5 degrees Celsius is real. Everybody, all countries actually have given their commitments and promise. So this is really important for Iskandar Malaysia, because we are attracting foreign investors. And these foreign investors are very concerned about their image, especially because it relates to how their stakeholders measure them. That's number one. Number two, it relates to their ability to attract investment. All these private equities and all that, they have given strict, they have given their strict guideline in terms of investment. So they would like to see their investees to be able to adhere to some of the global trend, global norms. So how it is being impacted, this is something that is quite shocking for us. Yeah, how globally it can impact us if 1.5 degrees Celsius really materialize. We are going to get even longer drought. This is from the United Nations itself just now. If that is 1.5, if it goes up a little bit to 2 degrees Celsius, you see there, 4 months of average length of drought. There you go. So this is global. How about in Johor? The data that we receive from the UN Global Compact is that our temperature has also increased. So this is something really serious, because one of our towns, Muar, may be impacted worse because it's by the sea. Yeah. So this is really got us into into thinking that we have to make sure the investment that's coming in will be able to support us in this journey. So for Iskandar Malaysia, like I mentioned just now, since 2006, we have actually come up with a few blueprints. One of them is the Low Carbon City Blueprint 2025. We have been successfully involved in many programs, yeah, and it has been recognized internationally. If you see at the bottom there, these are the international standards that we have brought in, yeah, to be implemented within Iskandar Malaysia. The CASB, BERMS. If you look at Gaia is Green Accord Initiative Award. This is an award specifically given to industry players who have proven their commitment in terms of reducing the GHG. The most interesting part here is the Iskandar Malaysia Eco Life Challenge. This is an awareness and an education program that Iskandar Malaysia has initiated to get to work with schools and colleges and to get them involved on a yearly basis towards giving a lot of exposure on the environment. Okay, so moving forward, there are a lot of recognitions that we have received, Iskandar Malaysia received. If you look at the Low Carbon City Blueprint itself, it was actually launched in Doha in 2012. And then the one on the right, you can see that we are listed as listed in the top tier, A list, for those for that CDP, Carbon Disclosure Project. A list means we are being transparent. The data that we collect is being shared internationally, and this would have given lots of trust and confidence among the investors that in Iskandar Malaysia, including the state, are serious in terms of reducing the GHG emission. Now, a lot of areas that we focus in terms of GHG emission, greening the environment and all that. But I would like to focus our sharing tonight on green transportation. If you look, there's one on renewable energy, the pollution, the wastewater and water investment and all that. But tonight, if you want to know more about the others, contact us, and then we can arrange another session with our team that is fully focused on RE, on resilient environment, RE. Okay. Now, any question so far?
Setakat ni tak ada, Dok. Mister.
Tak ada Okay, maybe I would like to pause for a while, Dr. Nick, because dekat sini azan. Boleh ya? Okay, terima kasih. Okay. Can everybody see my screen now?
Yes, Mr. D.
Okay. Let's go straight into what we are supposed to see tonight. Now, when we talk about public transportation, yeah, when we bring in all the investors all this while from 2006, yeah, you see here the map. It shows the growth of the area, that's been, that they have come up with lots of economic activities. So the yellow one, it started with the yellow one, okay, and it spreads out. So say from Johor Bahru and Pasir Gudang, yeah, and it spreads outward and upward, all the way to Senai, Kulai, and all the way up. Yeah, by 2020, you see the red ones. So the new ones actually in Iskandar Puteri. So this is how, from what I mentioned just now, the flagship. Once we have the flagship, naturally the growth of the area that is attracting the economic activities actually growing, yeah, from Johor Bahru upward and outwards, yeah. The labor force also increased because the area is actually being opened up, yeah. Unfortunately, with this came the two major issues. Number one is accessibility. Number two is inclusivity. Yeah. So even with this huge area of Iskandar Malaysia, in 2018, only 39% of all these areas actually covered by public transportation.
Tak pilih rebus. Tak mau apa. Tu dah goreng tadi dah, cuma kami ambil yang crispy ya tu. Kami ambil yang lembut tu. Nah. Nah.
Okay, ada advertisement kejap. Alright. So yeah, where was I? Yeah. Of all these areas, only 39% was covered. Yeah. Now, on top of that, what does it mean by 39% of the area? That means a lot of people don't have access to public transport. A lot of people have to depend on their own transport, whether cars, motorbikes, bicycle tak banyak lah, but so motorcycle and cars. Now, because we are adjacent to Singapore, many of them use private transport, their cars and motorbikes, to cross into Singapore. You see that almost 350,000 people crossing daily, back and forth. And the bigger chunk of them actually using motorbikes as well as cars. Yeah. Now, the issue of accessibility is one. The issue of inclusivity, a lot of areas not covered. So therefore, the investors, they were having second thoughts. Kalau so many areas not covered, how are they going to open up their manufacturing plants? How are they going to open up? Whether the people will be able to have access to the job. So these are the issues. When these people who live all the way in Tiram, in Gelang Patah, Pakan Nanas, or Pasir Gudang, everywhere, because they have to rely on cars and motorbikes, the cost of mobility on a monthly basis is actually quite high. Kalau tengok dekat sini, the issue of cost is quite real. Kalau kita compare Iskandar Malaysia, where the urban part, Johor Bahru, Kulai and Pontian, the people here have to spend more compared to on average urban cities. Kalau compare, kalau from the map, kalau you tengok, even between Johor Bahru and Skudai, people who live in Skudai, they have to spend about 815 ringgit, 815 per month, as compared to those who are staying in Johor Bahru, they have to spend about 780 ringgit. Yeah, so the further you are staying, you have to pay a lot more, naturally again. So the issue of accessibility and inclusivity have been high, not only at the people at the state level, but also among the investors, because it costs a lot to move people. Now, so the issue of efficient and cost-effective mobility is one, and we also have, when they use their cars and motorbikes, of course, goes without saying that the environment, the carbon monoxide and everything else actually quite bad, you see. But this is something that the state government as well as the federal government have to really juggle, yeah, because it costs a lot to provide public transportation now, and it's not helping that it is quite easy for everybody, for all of us, to own a car, right? To own a motorbike, it's quite easy. In fact, I think within this week, right? Ada new Perodua Asia launched at 22,000 ringgit. So I suppose this is not helping the environment at all. 22,000 ringgit, I calculated today dalam 360, kalau bayar cash lah. Okay. 22,000 bayar cash dalam sebulan lebih kurang 300 and equivalent to 366 ringgit a month. Itu hanya untuk kereta. Tak masuk minyak, tak masuk toll, tak masuk maintenance and all that. So it's not going to help the even the B40s or the M40s anyway in terms of managing their monthly expenditure. So, but in order to provide public transportation, the one that we have now, currently in Johor Bahru, in Iskandar, like I showed just now, only 39% of area covered. So in order to provide a good connectivity, how much more do we need to provide? From 39 to 50% of area, 60, 90%? The more areas that we need to cover, the more buses we need to put onto the street. The more buses we need to put, the more cost that the operators or even now the government has to cover. It is quite costly because if you remember, the people are not staying focused or danced in one area in the city center. The people in Iskandar Malaysia, we live in a secara berserakan. That's the word in berserakan. We have very low density, but we still have to tackle the issue of mobility as well, inclusivity and accessibility. When there is an issue of inclusivity, a lot of people may not have access to job because it will cost them a lot to move around. Yeah. So do we have any choice here? Does the government have any choice here? Do we want to keep introducing, kita dah introduce pun, cheap car, cheap loan to bring the car home, or do we want to encourage the industry players to focus on public transportation? Well, that is the question that is really hard to answer, because kita ada a lot of kekangan juga. But again, this is something that Iskandar Malaysia, IRDA, as well as my team, that we have to look from a very neutral perspective. As much as we want to bring in investment, by providing world-class infrastructure, remember, sustainable metropolis of an international standing, yeah. As much as we want to introduce modern infrastructure, we must also be cognizant of the cost of providing that infrastructure. If, for example, we choose to go really hard on cost, that means, okay, as long as service ada, yeah, but as long as the cost is the lowest, we may not be able to address the environmental issue, the pollution. For example, if we want to manage the public transport cost, kita kata, okay lah, kita bawa diesel buses. Contoh, diesel bus, right? So, more diesel bus, more carbon, but of course, low cost, but environmental stewardship kita letak tepi. This may not augur well with the investors. So this is where innovation comes in. I'm glad that over the last few years, I have my team with me who actually came from various industries, from various experience and exposure. Not many of them actually came from public transportation. Some of them are actually engineers, building roads, highways, buildings, and all that. Some of them have electrical and electronic background. Some of them, we have, my initial team also have people from airlines industry, from communications industries and all that, because we want to bring in a good mix of understanding about how to balance up this conundrum. How do we put across our message not only to the government but also to the people. Now, this is where innovation comes in. Now, okay, this is going towards our second part. Let us pause here. I would like to know your thoughts, if you have any comments or questions. Najwa?
Setakat ni tak ada lagi, Mr. D.
Tak ada lagi. Anybody else yang here?
Just can't wait to listen further, Mr. Rudy.
Okay.
Because the way you bring us from the chronology towards, so I'm waiting for the next. Okay.
Alright. You all dah makan ke belum?
Yes, me dah lah. Student mungkin dia tak larat nak makan. Tak
larat ni. Tak apa.
Nervous sangat kot.
Okay. Some of you tadi mungkin dekat kedai makan tadi kot, tengah order apa dengar tadi kan. Teruskan, no problem. Okay, I'll go to the second part, yeah. So this is the role of innovation within mobility solution itself. Okay. Presenting. There you go. So what have we done. Now, this project, Iskandar Rapid Transit, the one that I would like to introduce, has been in the Comprehensive Development Plan, CDP, since 2010. 2010, yeah. Since 2010 that we have been toying with the ideas, we have looked at various options of mode of transportation, yeah, because we at that time, the one on the left, ETS, or actually the being planned, yeah. So we knew that then that from Kuala Lumpur to Johor there will be this ETS, electric train system. Ya, sekarang dah ada kan, siapa yang pergi the northern side naik ETS pergi Ipoh, pergi Sebang Perai, all the way to Padang Sak dah ada. Now, it's been masa tu 2010, 2012 dah plan for this ETS to come down to Johor Bahru as well. Because kalau nak pergi Kelantan from KL, you have to go down to Gemas and then tukar kereta api, tukar kepala and then pergi Gemas kan. So now from KL to Johor Bahru until now, I think about 6.5, 7 hours. So with ETS, it will cut the journey time to half. Okay. The government has invested to improve that connectivity, KL to JB. Now, then in 2014, 2015, there were talks about connecting to Singapore. Ya, kalau doktor ingat, students semua ingat, that there were talks of the Crooked Bridge, right? The Crooked Bridge, the famous Crooked Bridge, tak jadi. But then after that, in 2010, 2011, through engagement by Iskandar Malaysia as well, IRDA as well, then came about this RTS, Rapid Transit System. Because in IRDA, in Iskandar Malaysia, IRDA is the champion as well as the secretariat to between Malaysia and Singapore. Malaysia and Singapore, there is a specific committee discussing about the economic cooperation between Iskandar Malaysia and Singapore. We discussed on economic activities, social activities, tourism and all that, and transportation. Cross-border is one of our top agenda every time we discuss. So RTS, Rapid Transit System, is going to be ready by 2027 with close to 4 billion investment. So if you look at number 1 and number 2, yeah, KL to JB, done. By 2026, 2027, siap. JB to Singapore, it will be there. So what's going to happen within Iskandar Malaysia itself? These two are train systems. This mode of transport, the mode of transportation is train system. But what is suitable for Iskandar Malaysia? Remember, 2,217 km squared ni, size dia 3 kali ganda Singapore. Yeah, for us to provide connectivity, remember just now the issue of accessibility, inclusivity, the people really have no money lah to move about, kan? Mahal, you know. So in order to provide accessibility, connectivity, mode of transportation yang macam mana yang sesuai. So we have looked at various modes, for example, LRT, MRT of course, monorail, and also tram, various modes. We look at the population density, we look at the cost of building, the cost of maintenance, then we look at the speed of journey, of travel itself. We look at how easy the people yang dekat luar sana tu to access this public transportation. A lot of areas. This is what we have decided upon. Within Iskandar Malaysia, we are going to build Iskandar Rapid Transit, IRT, based on bus rapid transit system. With this, we are confident that we will be able to cover 90% of the area, populated area, at a very reasonable cost. I will come to that later. The government is investing half of it. Expected completion Q4 2025. Okay, so what I would like to share here is that there's a lot of iteration going on between now and then, between 2016 up until now, 2016, 2017 up until now, 2023 even, a lot of discussion. Yeah. Now, this bus rapid transit system will definitely provide the extensive coverage that the people want. The first mile and the last mile connectivity. Yeah. Because it is a bus system. I will share further on point number 1. But there you go. Because our density, when we want to choose mode of transportation that is suitable for an area, we have to look at the density, population density. Population density of Klang Valley. Siapa tahu? Berapa? Okay, between 6 to 7,000 people per square kilometer. Yeah. Population density of Singapore, about 8,000 people per square kilometer. What it means is that kalau kita nak build a public transportation, if we want to choose a public transportation mode, the dense area it is, the denser it is, what do you call that? The denser area it is, the more people, the more likelihood of the people within that area will take public transportation. Because when you have a lot of people within one particular area, the easiest for them to move about is using public transportation. Because if you have car will be stuck on the road, it won't be able to move because within a small area. So if we have a high capacity transportation like train, then people will jump onto the train. And because it high density within a big area, building a train system is economical. Yeah. So going into point number 2, let's look at the cost per kilometer. MRT1, close to 700 million per kilometer. LRT3 currently going all the way to Kelang, yeah, close to 489 million per kilometer. Tram, so BRT is about what, 50 million ringgit per kilometer. 1/10 of MRT, 1/8 or 1/7 of LRT. So with this amount of money, yeah, if we were to build train base, whether it's LRT or MRT, to cover 90% of Iskandar Malaysia area, it will cost a bomb. Definitely. That with a limited amount of money, we can only build, for example, kalau tadi you tengok kat situ 2.56 billion, right? So what? Mungkin kita boleh build dalam 4-5 kilometer of MRT saja, or 6-7-8 kilometer, 9 kilometer of LRT saja. Whereas the people bukan duduk dekat tengah bandar aja. The people in Iskandar Malaysia, if you remember the map, they live sporadically all the way dekat luar sana, all the way to Gelang Patah, Pasir Gudang, Pekan Nanas, Skudai, Senai and all that. So we have to look at the most efficient public transportation mode. Okay, this sebenarnya doesn't require creative or innovative thinking, just logic. But again, when we wanted to defend our decision here, it's quite hard because the people in Johor, they are used to a good system available in Singapore. Imagine 100 to 100,000 people crossing daily to Singapore. They are used to the system in Singapore, and when they come back to Iskandar, alah, takkan bus saja. Okay, you see? And people in Iskandar Malaysia, in Johor, they see Klang Valley is getting LRT, MRT and all that. We also believe that we deserve a similar mode of transportation. So this is not really so much an innovative or creative thinking. This is just putting it out there, bear it out, put it on the table, bear it to the public, to the state government. How much are we able to spend? Yeah, it goes back to affordability lah sebenarnya. So again, point number 3, the BRT system has been there since 2012, I believe. 186 cities have adopted the system, and with technologies advancing rapidly, we believe that the experience of riding a BRT would be similar to any of the train system. Point number 3 will invite a lot of innovative thinking among my team, because how do we show to the people? How are we going to convince the people that, hey, even with BRT, your journey experience will be as good as taking the train, whether in Singapore or Klang Valley or anywhere in the world. So I will spend a lot on that area soon. Now, BRT, like I said, been there around the world. You can see, if you Google, please look at Seoul, Istanbul, and Transjakarta. Yeah, the numbers are there, the frequencies are there, the satisfaction level among the users are there. There's a source there, the one on the bottom left, brtdata.org. If you can Google this later, you can see, you can find a lot of other cities performance in this website. Yeah, please have a look how good they are in all those cities. Yeah. Now, like I mentioned just now, the challenge for us, for Iskandar Malaysia, specifically my team, IRT team, is to design this BRT or Iskandar Rapid Transit. We have to design the service, we have to design the infrastructure, we have to design so many things I will share with you later, so that the experience of the people taking this mode of service will be just as efficient and convenient as how they would have taken a train-based system. Yeah. Okay. The idea here is that in this slide is that we would like to present a system that is not as costly as the train system in Klang Valley. This argument, the one that I just said about cost, is most relevant to Kementerian Cawangan, MOF. Yeah, MOF has been challenging us, to present a system that is efficient but affordable. That's the challenge to us. So I'm glad that my team, with all their experience, this is something that is, that is, I believe this is a real innovation lah. Iskandar Rapid Transit. Okay. If you look at the visual there, this is a visual of a median station, a station in the middle of the road, just like any LRT or MRT station in the middle of the road. Ada connectivity to the left and right side of the road, of the arterial road. And in the middle, the one colored red is a dedicated busway. Buses will ply this route uninterrupted by private vehicles. So buses will be able to provide a reliable service, a safer service, a more convenient way of moving about. At the station, there will be ticketing system similar to LRT. There will be areas for waiting and all that. So all this is funded by the government at a tune of 1.12 billion ringgit, right? And another innovative solution that we have looked at is to work with private parties for the provision of electric buses, electric charging facilities and systems. This is also another challenge given to us by the Ministry of Finance to find the best business model that can work with both government as well as private sectors. If you know the model now in Klang Valley, the operators, the main operator is Prasarana. Prasarana is an agency, a company. Sorry, it is a company under Ministry of Finance, a company incorporated under Ministry of Finance. Yeah, so that the company is being guaranteed by the government. So therefore, any spending, whether it's on maintenance or operation, all that actually is guaranteed by the government. But here, for this BRT, or Iskandar Rapid Transit, we've been asked to work with private parties. Yeah, so a lot of discussion been going on, so that this will be a win-win partnership. Now, at a glance, how is this IRT going to pan out over the next few years? I'll take you to the one on the left first. For the dedicated busway that I mentioned to you, the one colored in red too, there will be three main trunks, three BRT trunk lines spanning over 55 kilometers. The first line, the one on the left, the green one, is Iskandar Puteri line. The second one is Skudai line. Iskandar Puteri actually from Anjong to the city center. This one will go through Legoland nanti. The red one flying through Skudai, Jalan Skudai, all the way up to the north tu nampak UiTM. Kalau you all dah pernah datang sini, so it starts from UiTM all the way to the city center, connected to RTS. You see, so the green, the red, and the blue line is the brow. All these three lines will converge and meet at RTS. So those who are staying all the way from Kulai, from Anjong, from Desa Jaya, they are actually connected to RTS via these trunk lines. Yeah. We will start construction sometimes in September or October this year, and will be operational in 2025. Now, with these three lines, trunk lines, we will still not able to cover 90% of the area. So what do we need? Number two, direct and feeder lines of IRT. Direct lines actually will take you from the residential area. For example, we will have a service starting from say Lotus or Aeon, for example. So because people naturally will go there, they will be able to park their car there, and we can start our service there, and then take them all the way to point of interest, destination yang disukai ramai, contoh RTS. Yeah, these direct lines will have limited number of stops. Direct means yalah direct lah, terus lah, tak banyak stop. Direct. Yang lagi banyak stop ialah feeder line. Feeder lines, a short trip within 5 to 10 kilometer radius. So it can be from your house to your school, from your house to the clinic, from your house to some economic centers within 5 to 8 kilometer radius. Then you can use feeder service. Combination of these three, trunk, direct and feeder, there will be like berapa tu? 4, 8, 92 lines there altogether. This will cover 90% of the area. Yeah. So along the three lines just now, ada 3 hubs and 22 stations, we will improve the frequency. Imagine currently 39% of area covered, right? I mentioned just now. The waiting time is so bad. The waiting time currently between 45 minutes to 1 jam 15 minit. What? 60, 75 minutes. Nak kena menunggu. Say for example, you sampai to the bus stop, right? In Kulai. And you don't see the bus. So it's pure luck whether you have to wait for 2 minutes or you have to wait for 60 minutes. You don't know. Because not only the frequency is really bad, number one. Number two, the system, the time for the bus to arrive is not available, not easily available. So what we are going to do now under IRT, not only introducing all these services, but also we will introduce systems as well. Point number 3 there. Yeah, we will have electric buses, we will have different sizes of buses, but bottom part, integrated automated fare system. So there will be information in your on your phone, information on website and all that will make the journey more seamless. Now, with this investment, we believe that not only we will increase the network to 90%, but also we must design the services to get people move out of their personal private car or motorbikes. With that, we hope we will be able to reduce road accidents. If a lot more people jump onto the bus, on the BRT, we hope that the productivity, the delay in their travel will be reduced as well. With less time spent on the road, traveling back and forth, 45 or an hour and a half a day, sebelah pagi, another 1 hour in the evening. Hopefully, it will reduce some of the medical costs related to stress and pressure. And all the others. If you look at peluang pekerjaan langsung dan tidak langsung, because when we have good connectivity for direct service, feeder service and all that, more and more areas, more and more economic areas, small density areas, small density places will be able to bring a lot more consumers or a lot more workers to their area easily and more affordable. So hopefully with that, especially after pandemic, we are able to improve the connectivity. We should be able to improve the ability of these shops and businesses to stay in their respective economic activities. I just want to take you to point yang 242 million ringgit setahun tu penjimatan subsidi bahan api. This is real. If you are able to move people out of the car and motorcycle, car especially, we should be able to reduce the government's burden on subsidizing RON 95 and diesel. And diesel means if we have a lot of people using the bus, therefore when we use electric bus, therefore we have the means to change from diesel to electric bus. What it means is that the government will have less burden in subsidizing diesel. So on a year-to-year basis, we believe the government will enjoy less subsidy lah. So, and this penjimatan ni, these savings can be used in some other ways. For example, giving more to the students lah, beasiswa ke apa ke, or converting that saving to give to the students in terms of access to public transport. You know about this RM50, right? My 50 that is currently being used in Klang Valley as well as Johor. Why not? Then channel this saving, to support students' mobility. So when you daftar to UiTM and all that, so you would have this travel card per se. It will provide unlimited access to areas within Iskandar Malaysia. Now, of course, the GHG. Okay, let's pause a little bit for you to appreciate the dial on the left. Okay, if you see there are 7 items there. Number 1 is civil infra, number 2 system and bus, number 3 operation and operator, funding, policy, regulation, enforcement, fare and ticketing, and then a non-fare revenue. So all these are the 7 critical work streams that my team, together with our appointed consultants, are working on over the last 2.5 years. These are the 7 work streams. These are the crux of the design. Yeah. The 7 areas, like the title says, actually being designed with only one objective, which is to attract ridership. Yeah. So when we design civil infra, for example, when we design the station, where do we put the station? Where do we put the station is important because it is critical for the people to have the most convenient access to the station. Yeah, when we design the station, it must come with proper walking infrastructure, pedestrian walkways. There must be in close proximity to areas of interest, whether schools, whether economic activities or masjid. All this requires a lot of engagement with the people. That's only on civil infra. System and buses. How do we design systems and buses? Not only from cost perspective, remember, Ministry of Finance, MOF, they want us to reduce the cost, but also we are bound to deliver a clean and sustainable service operations. See, cost and efficiency of service, as well as making sure it's clean, green. So many things that we have to juggle that requires a lot of innovative thinking lah. And all these 7 areas actually been benchmarked with international standard. Okay, now when we talk about ridership, we have done a lot of surveys, engagement with the public. Yeah, and our survey showed that a high percentage, 94% of the people are willing to shift from private car to public transportation. What it means is that ridership lah. If we fulfill what they want pun bijak. Okay, they said, okay, yep, we want to use your BRT if you can fulfill this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Convenience, frequency, reliability, reach, and journey time. So what it says here is that ridership is something that we cannot control. Ridership is an outcome. Because at the end of the day, kita tak boleh nak paksa orang guna public transport. Just like in Klang Valley, when MRT completed in 2016, 2017, pandemic and up until now, dah cantik dah MRT, but the ridership actually only 22% of what it was forecasted. The forecast was when MRT completes, the ridership was supposed to be about 440,000 people per day. 440,000 people. Over the last 3 or 4 years, it has been at what, 120,000 people a day? About 22%. Very low. Because these areas, convenience, frequency and all that, actually not being addressed in totality. Ya, buatlah sistem cantik macam mana pun, kalau tak convenient, kalau tak frequent, people will not use public transportation. Yeah, reach especially. Reach means network. Kalau the user has to change a couple of buses, or they have to drive and then find places to park, baru boleh naik MRT, that is something that is not ideal to most people. Yeah. So when we design for IRT, these 5 areas are very important to us. We must design to make sure the access is convenient. We must make sure that we provide enough frequency, enough headway. For example, kalau sekarang ni, I mentioned just now, the bus will come every 45 minutes or every 50 minutes or every 1 hour. We must design it for the bus to come every 30 minutes perhaps, mula-mula 30 minit, so 1 jam 2 kali, or 1 jam 3 kali, that means every 20 minutes. Oh, that's a lot of improvement already, from 50 minutes, every 50 minutes, every 45 minutes, to every 20 minutes. Reliability. Now, reliability is very subjective. What it says here is that in terms of public transportation, what it means is that if the service is going to be there in 10 minutes, it must be there in 10 minutes. That 10 minutes is also subjective, you see, because people need information. Yeah, without information, without a more holistic information. For example, if you say that the bus is going to be there in 10 minutes time, but you are not telling the people that, you're telling the commuters that the road is congested. Yeah, 10 minutes if you don't tell them that the road is congested, then they will be expecting the bus to be there in 10 minutes. But if you add another information, you show them that actually the bus is there 2 kilometers away from the bus stop, but the road is congested. So with that, the public tend to be more forgiving. They know that, oh, it's congested, but the bus is there, it's coming. So hopefully in a way, the blame is shifted to the condition of the road, of the traffic at that time. But without that information, if the bus is not there, then the public will lose trust in the system, will lose trust in the service itself. Kata nak datang 10 minit, tak datang pun, tak ada pun. So it becomes macam tu. So what we are going to introduce is this information sharing in how we run IRT. We will be working with a few other information provider. Yeah, hopefully these are the areas that we can work with to gain trust and confidence among the public. At the end of the day, it will make them want to try the service. Hence, the ridership will go up. The findings that we have from our studies is that specifically dekat bawah tu, the journey time. If journey time bertambah from 10 to 15 minutes, the likelihood of losing ridership is about 10%. And because of ridership decrease, our financial will be impacted. The operating shortfall will increase. So with the data that we have, we must design the way that we are going to operate to make sure that information, doctors and lecturers, this formula actually from IRT team, from us. It has not been proven in any studies or research. So kalau any one of you would like to delve into research of this area, you're welcome to do so, and please invite us lah. Yeah. So the idea that we would like to propose here is that innovation is an iteration, because at the end of the day, when we design, it is still a plan. Yeah, the real stuff will come in when we operate the service nanti. For example, in terms of frequency, reliability, and as well as reach. We have designed it as such. Once we start operation, there'll be a lot of feedback coming in from the people, from the local authorities, and from all walks of life. From that feedback, we will be able to improve all these 5 areas: journey time, reliability, and all that. So because these are the areas that we can control. With that feedback coming in over time, then hopefully we can make sure that the people have more confidence and trust in the service, and therefore enhance the ridership will increase. So it is going to be an iterative process. Yeah. And in order to do that, we must design our capability to be able to adapt as we go. Adapt, learn, change, measure, and then observe and measure, and then improve. It is a continuous iteration. Now, another area of innovation is that is happening on this dedicated busway that I showed just now. Why? Because there's no BRT yet in Malaysia. If you're familiar with bus rapid transit BRT system in Klang Valley, which is in Sunway, that system is an elevated system. Dia memang dekat atas, tak campur dengan kereta-kereta lain. So it's easy. It's just like building an elevated highway. So that one tak kira. Anyway, it's only 5.4 kilometers and isolated from other private transport, other cars and buses. But for Iskandar Malaysia, we are building a dedicated busway in the middle of the road. Kalau tengok sini, kita akan guna lorong sebelah kanan, lorong paling laju. One lane will be dedicated to bus, and the other lanes will be used by mixed traffic. And JKR, Jabatan Kerja Raya, and Kementerian Kerja Raya, they are not familiar with this concept. We've been facing a lot of challenges to convince them that we can isolate the bus from the cars. We can dedicate one without impacting the level of service, without creating more traffic or congestion to that area. It's tough. It took them or us lah, both ways. The communication was quite good between us and Kerja Raya, Jabatan Kementerian Kerja Raya. It took us 1.5 years to convince them, to work with them. Some breakthrough solutions that we proposed to JKR has gone through many iterations, gone through many challenge sessions. As simple as the curb, number 3, re-engineer new curb separating bus and private vehicles. 6, 10 inci, 6 inci, how wide, how tall, what's the strength and all that. It's quite fun working with Jabatan Technical ni, JKR and all that, because one thing for sure is that we don't have enough money to take them overseas lah sebenarnya. So we have to bring overseas to Malaysia. We have to bring all the experience from other BRTs through Google, through and all that to Malaysia. I'm quite happy with the result, even though it has taken us 1.5 years. But with JKR and KKR's support, we were able to convince EPU, Economic Planning Unit, to give us additional budget to construct a proper dedicated busway. Yeah. So if you look at here, when we take one lane for a dedicated busway, you see the bus there, we have to replace one lane, sebelah kanan and sebelah kiri. You see, replacement lane. We managed to convince JKR that, okay, we will replace the lane if and only if there is enough right of way, enough space belongs to the government. So we can tambah, replace the lane. But if there's no space available, through negotiation, JKR agreed for these roads, yeah, to reduce the lane width. Susah tau nak reduce lane width. From 3.5 meters, we are able to reduce untuk kereta from 3.5 to 3.25 meters, and some of the areas 3 meters. That needs a lot of convincing. A lot of data must be shared with the agency. So data will give us innovative solution. Without data, it is hard to convince them. So what we're trying to say, innovation is in the details. We look at area stretch by stretch. Mana ada space, mana tak ada space. Dekat mana yang level of service sangat-sangat teruk, dah F dah. Ataupun from level of service D, turn towards to E and F. So it is in the details. And JKR and KKR, I salute them for, they have to bear with us lah, go through this. Yeah. So it's tough. But alhamdulillah, we've gone through this. We passed this. Same goes when we were designing our station. When we want to build a station in the middle of the road, macam mana, because this could be a hazard. Because when we build a structure in the middle of the road, there will be tendency for cars. You tahu lah, Malaysian drivers kan, bukannya Malaysian drivers you tahu lah. Even when we discuss with PDRM, the police asked us to increase the height curb because they said Pajero, all these four-wheelers will just jump onto your dedicated busway, and there goes your service lah. So when we design the station, in order to manage the cost of the station, a few changes to the design. Yeah, kalau you tengok dekat situ, the one on the left, we are separating the buses from the cars, right? So how do we manage? How to make sure that the station is safe from incoming cars and all that? So, yep, that's why we have experienced staff among us who are able to give different ideas in the design. The one in the middle, curbside station, but this is specifically linking to RTS. So we must design the station to make sure most convenience to the people, linking directly to the pedestrian overhead bridge. If you see the one, the diagram in the middle, that will be connected to RTS station. So if you take the IRT, you alighted there dekat bawah tu, bus lane, you alighted there at the platform, you take the escalator or stairs all the way up to the overhead bridge connected to RTS. This is key to our design, because RTS is designed to take 10,000 people per hour crossing to Singapore. So we must make sure that the flow of the people from IRT to RTS is being managed in the most smoothest manner, yeah, and seamless, integrated. So the design has actually taken care all those requirements. Now, what about the systems? The system, like I mentioned, mobile apps is key. With that mobile app, look on the one on the right side, the bus control center. This is key as well because it will definitely not only managing the bus, but also managing the data, the information that will be pushed to the people into the mobile app application. Yeah. So this is core. These two are core. Now the others, for example, solar, rooftop solar. I'm reading the one on top. Passenger information display, Wi-Fi, and all that. This is given. We must have this. Without this is basic already. Yeah. Without this, it will be less attractive to the youngsters lah, like you all here. Okay. Now, other than that, how do we make sure that we include that we make the service, the journey inclusive to everybody? One way of looking at it is how we manage the fare system, the ticketing system. Yeah. So one of the areas that we explored, we are working with Bank Negara, is actually in using ATM card, debit card, whether it's any banks, yeah. And by through our discussion with Bank Negara Malaysia, they are serious in pushing for debit card through their subsidiary, PayNet. So hopefully with this, we are able to encourage more and more users to, to be able to take the system seamlessly. Tak payah nak beli tiket asing separately and all that. Just use your ATM card. I believe many people now have ATM card. Yeah. Kalau tak ada, then this is something that we should be working with the ministries, the relevant ministries, Kementerian Wanita, Keluarga dan sebagainya, to make sure all the marginalized communities also have access to this type of payment system. So that's on the system side. Now, we also talked about electric bus just now, right? So the systems and the buses, especially the bus, is critical. Not only for the environment, but also to make sure that the cost of operation is being optimized. Buying electric bus is expensive, but maintaining electric bus is way cheaper than maintaining diesel buses. Some actually you can save 80%. Some says you can save 85%. Yeah, because in electric bus doesn't have many moving parts. The more moving parts there are, the more money required to maintain. Yeah, you kena tukar minyak, oils, everything. Now tak ada engine. When you take out the engine, replace the engine with a motor. So there's a lot of savings there. So what we are looking at is to make sure that we go electric as fast as possible. In order to do that, we need a lot of money. So how do we balance the two? How do we balance the need for capital to invest in using electric buses, at the same time we know that we need those buses because we can reduce the maintenance cost. One of the areas is sharing the risk. I mentioned to you just now about working with the private sectors. This is something that my team has been working with, talking to various players, bus manufacturers, electric charger companies, providers. We have also been talking to Tenaga TNB, you see, to Suruhanjaya Tenaga, because all these players, all these stakeholders must come together. What I meant is that innovation doesn't have to be about something technical, or when you something that is really related to electronics and electrical. No, innovation is also happens in how you explain things. You must bring together various players, stakeholders, to actually come together and see, there's a lot more advancement if we come together. Because if we want to make sure that we can use electric buses fast, we need power. And power currently actually only provided by TNB. So my team is talking with another group about whether can we produce power from solar, for example. So with that, a lot of engagement, discussion, not only within Malaysia, but also with interested parties from other countries like Japan, Korea, So we bring in interests and technology from outside in order for us to bring in all these stakeholders to sit together to craft a business model that will give a win-win-win solution to everybody. This is what I meant by sharing risks and rewards. So at the end of the day, through this innovative business model, the government, at the end of the day, the government will be able to, the government will not be burdened with high initial costs of providing electric buses, electric chargers, and all that. Yeah.
Mr. Rudyanto?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but we received several questions from chatbot YouTube.
Okay.
And can I ask you now?
Boleh. Yeah.
This from chatbot YouTube now. So here we are several questions from participants. From first question from Mr. Azhar on YouTube chatbot. The first question is, Johor government, what is Johor government idea about public transportation system in Iskandar?
What is Johor government's idea of?
Idea about public transportation system in Iskandar.
Iskandar, okay, thank you. The idea is to get people connected. Public transportation system must get people connected. Yeah, there's no point building a shiny, a beautiful public transportation system, tetapi susah for people to use it. What we mean by that is that, remember just now, we were thinking about whether to build train, LRT, or something else. If we build train system yang boleh dibina dengan 1 bilion ringgit hanyalah 4 atau 5 kilometer saja within the city centre. A lot of people living outside the city centre, right? So still susah bagi people living outside to have access to public transport. So our idea of building public transportation system is to memudahkan accessibility ni. Cara nak memudahkan ialah to bring public transportation as close as possible to where people live. Kalau dia duduk katalah dekat mana, Skudai, the bus, only a good bus system can reach there. So accessibility and inclusivity, itu idea kami. Jawab soalan tak?
Jawab. Tapi kita ada another question also chat about YouTube from Iqmal. The question is for some citizens may prefer to use their own transport because it does not take much time compared to public transport. In your opinion, what is the solution for this issue?
Okay, thank you, Akmal. Now, we believe that we prefer to use private transport because of convenience. Mudah. Nak turun bila, nak berhenti kat mana, mudah. That one goes without saying. We agree. So how we have to provide an option. We have to offer an option. How to offer that option? First, information must come to you at the time when you want to decide. Sekarang kita ada phone, kita ada, phone lah, a website or apps, right? With the system that we design should be able to provide you that option. For example, if you want, from your college you want to go to Kedai lah and all that, or kemana, instead of taking your motorbike or car, hopefully with that information on your palm, dalam your phone tu, okay, in 3 minutes time there'll be a bus coming, and then you start thinking, should I drive or should I just take the bus? Right, that's number one. Option, is there. Sekarang ni tak ada information on that option, kan? So information is important. Now with that, after the ada information, now the enabler. What's happening now dekat Klang Valley is that the government is giving this My50, RM50, unlimited ride. Naiklah apa pun, bus ke train ke all that. So now it gets you thinking, kalau you dah ada My50 tu, okay, if I dah bayar dah RM50 untuk sebulan ni, kalau I tak guna naik bus ni, rugilah kan. I still have to pay for the minyak for the motorbike tadi, or nak kena parking kalau kereta. Okay, this is an enabler. The product, the solution itself. So I believe once you have that option and enabling punya ni technology, hopefully it get you to think lah more responsibly. Betul tak, Dr. Nick? Betul thinking more responsibly, bukan sahaja kepada environment, kepada pocket you lah. I think Dr. Nick ada nak tambah sikit tadi. Silakan Dr. Nick.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good evening to all of you. My question is very simple. I just want to ask about you mentioned from the beginning all the idea start with the sustainability. Okay, and then based on your point of view, okay, the sustainability here, it become push factor or become a pull factor for Iskandar right now to provide all the detailed planning for another next in the future for transportation.
Susah soalan Dr. Nick ni. Okay, push or pull factor. Dengan state government, dengan federal government, kami IRDA is actually an entity di bawah federal government. Dengan federal government, kami nak kena minta support, especially financial support. Dengan state government, kita nak minta support dari segi implementation itself, on the ground implementation. So memang kita main tarik tali, push and pull. Yeah. When we talk about environment per se, sustainability, from the state perspective, environment is one, but sustainability in terms of social economical sustainability very is more important to the state, because the people, the rakyat are there, closer to them, so they're more concerned about how much the people need to spend and all that. Okay, so tapi dengan federal maybe jauh kan, dengan Johor dengan Putrajaya jauh, they are more concerned about duit, cost. So when we talk about sustainability, of course the operational financial sustainability is one thing, but also we have to look at push to them about the federal policy in terms of GHG emission. Kita gunalah, kita pakailah polisi apa yang dia orang duk jual tu kan. You are selling for green and all that. So this is our way of supporting your policy. So now it's about subsidi bersasar, right? So that's why I spoke about rationalization of subsidy just now. So all this actually play a role lah, Doctor. Okay. I know I have a few more slides to go. I don't mind. We can pause dekat sini. We go straight to question and answers. Because kalau nak go through a few, I think kena ada a few session kan.
And thank you for your explanation, but we have the question from chatbot YouTube also. From Farhan Razak, the question is: there any method used to avoid congestion among users, especially during the peak hours?
Okay. How to reduce congestion during peak hours? Now, ada dua phrases yang kita selalu nampak. Number one, bila you dalam kereta dalam traffic jam, kan, sebenarnya you are the cause of that traffic jam. Okay, you duduk dalam tu. Itu satu. Okay, so you have to start thinking about this traffic jam is not because of orang lain. You decided to take the car in the first place tadi because macam tadilah tak ada option, information for you to choose kan. So bila dah ada information tu, hopefully you will choose responsibly. That's number one. Number two, I'm sure you're familiar dengan electric car, EV sekarang ni kan. Orang cerita pasal EVs lah. The other day in a forum, forum tu berkenaan EV dan autonomous vehicle, electric vehicle and autonomous vehicle. So this is the phrase is quite widely used juga. Kalau ada 10 electric car compared to dengan 10 kereta petrol biasa, actually they're still the same. And an electric car is still a car, tak kira lah dia elektrik ke dia kereta yang petrol. So these cars will still be contributing towards congestion. So bukan kata tak ada makna guna EV. Kita guna EV mungkin kita reduce GHG, tapi will not reduce congestion. So in order to reduce congestion is to explore option of public transport. Now, exploring option for public transport. If mungkin I tambah sikit, Dr. Muslimah, before I go to you. we have been talking and discussing dengan local authorities, okay, to provide for local authority. Dia macam ni tau, dalam administrating sesuatu kawasan tu, dia ada federal, dia ada state, dia ada local authority. Setiap layer of administrative ni ada tanggungjawab masing-masing. Local authorities tanggungjawab dia untuk menyediakan infrastruktur setempat. Contoh laluan berjalan kaki. Apa lagi? Macam-macam lah. Menentukan banyak atau sikitnya tempat letak kereta contohnya. So, these are the items, the push and pull item tadi, Dr. Nick. Contoh, we are working dengan local authorities, especially dekat Johor Bahru, to get them to reduce number of parking space within the city centre. Kita tak nak orang drive all the way masuk city centre sebab nak naik RTS nak ke Singapore. Kita kata, majlis, kalau nak build, nak approve parking space, approve yang dekat luar-luar sana. Dekat luar kawasan daripada urban. Where our feeder bus boleh pick up diorang daripada situ. That one in terms of push factor. Yeah. Pull factor pula, okay, within the residential area, there needs to be a good pedestrian walkway. Daripada kawasan perumahan ke bus stop ataupun ke area yang mana bus boleh pergi. Ya, ataupun within hypermarket punya area. Kita ada banyak macam-macam. Aeon, IKEA, Toppen, banyak mall dekat sini. Surrounding it must have a good pedestrian walkway. Ini tugas developer, tugas local authority untuk letak dalam syarat-syarat development oleh ke atas developer tersebut to build a walkable punya surrounding. So push and pull yang kat situ, dan juga inilah cara kita untuk mengurangkan congestion dengan improving the first mile tadi. Hopefully answering Akmal punya question. Yeah, Dr. Nur Muslimah, silakan.
Thank you very much, Cik Rudy. Actually, I was waiting for some part, okay, but since you said that maybe you are not going to continue with the next slides, right?
Boleh continue.
Okay, yeah. Actually, I'm waiting for. Okay, just now you said that the construction shall be started on September, right? Yeah. And then the execution can open about in 2025.
Correct.
Okay, it's come to me before this. Okay, there was a pilot project.
Yeah.
I'm waiting the result of the pilot project actually.
Okay.
Are we going to have that tonight?
Oh, okay. The result of the pilot project.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. If I okay. You can see. Can you see my screen? Can you see my
screen? I can't see it.
Tak ada. Resume. Let me resume. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah. Yes, can.
Okay, let me show this. Can you see now? Okay. Nampak ni tak?
Nampak.
This is bus pilot testing.
Oh, actually, this is the pilot test being done, and the result. Okay, so we are actually those participated in this particular pilot test. Okay, their feedback, whether they happy or actually positive or some other negative feedback given by them.
Okay. Now your question was whether they are happy.
Yeah. Because we are talking about a big amount of money, kan?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, we need them to use, right?
Yeah. If I may,
Mm.
there were a lot of happy parties there.
Okay.
Okay. Number one, those who participated the OEM, they had to spend a lot. For example, the one with the high capacity bus, right? Their main intention is not only to introduce but also to get JPJ to be able to review the application of high capacity bus. Sebab dekat Malaysia ni, bas yang paling panjang hanyalah 15 meter sahaja, kalau tak silap. So yang ini 32 meter.
Okay.
So JPJ got the chance to actually review all the specifications. That's number one. So OEM happy, JPJ was happy, MOT was happy. Now, the other reason why we did this actually to convince the people, the rakyat, that okay, bas ni tak adalah buruk mana sangat. Yeah. It can be as futuristic as what they can experience masa tu. Yeah, electric buses, they looks like a train, experience like a train, but it's a bus at a fraction of a cost. Now, because the people macam saya cakap, orang Johor ni nak macam dia nak apa? Nak train macam Singapore, macam KL, kan? So once they saw this dalam video yang saya tunjuk tadi, nampak video tadi kan? Ada video tadi? Tak ada. Oh tak ada video, saya tak pandai nak tunjuk video. But anyway, because of that, the feedback from the people very, very positive in terms of they're looking forward to have these advanced technologies. That's number two. Number three, because we were dealing dengan JKR dan juga the state government, right? They want to know whether we are serious about this.
Okay.
Yeah. So, itulah. Alhamdulillah.
That one was in 2021.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Encik Rudy.
You're welcome. Yes. Any other question? Yeah.
Maybe this is last question from Cik Bayuti also. It's from Norazmi Hanif. The question is how IMBRT integrated with other mode transportation?
How
IMBRT integrated with other mode transportation?
Good question. Now, other modes. Macam tadi I showed how it's connected to RTS, right? Dekat station tu ada from station to station will be connected directly to RTS. Now, other modes of transportation. What is important now is when you want to choose for your next mode of transportation, you have that option. Contoh, dari rumah tadi, to go to the bus stop, there is an opportunity for the personal mobility device. Apa dia tu? Itu e-scooter lah. Yang sama ada push scooter ataupun e-scooter ataupun sekarang ni ada basikal. That is the other mode of transportation. Yeah. So, dengan majlis tadi, I mentioned tadi dengan local authorities, they have to provide a safe environment untuk kita guna personal mobility device. E-scooter jadi contoh dia. Kena ada railing dekat tepi ke, walkway yang even, cantik, elok, right? So there's one mode of transportation, personal mobility device. Number 2, bus on demand. Mobility as a service, bus on demand. That is another mode of transport. You all sekarang ni biasa dengan Grab kan? Grab is another mode of transport. Grab ni very individualized kan? Kalau bus on demand, maksudnya dia macam Grab, dia macam pool, carpool lah. Tapi ini besar sikit, bus. So to be able to connect to bus on demand, kita kena have a shared platform. Information kena ada sharing. Sebab for example, you want to take platform sharing sama ada nak booking ataupun payment ataupun in terms of time itself. Timing nak kena betul. From one to another. Say for example, you want to take tadi kan ETS nak pergi ke Kuala Lumpur, yeah. So from your house you ada limited amount of money, boleh you dah naik Grab daripada rumah terus pergi ke ETS punya station terus, but you nak enjoy the journey. You take bus on demand dulu daripada rumah ke BRT station, daripada BRT tukar bus terus pergi ETS. So with information, it will present you that option for other modes of transportation punya integration. The third one would be payment system. Kalau dia integrated, that's the best lah. That's the best. Payment, booking, that one should be done. Okay, 3 perkara itu. Okay, next question. Okay, sebelum you all tanya, saya nak tanya dulu. When was the last time you all naik bus ataupun public transportation? Siapa nak?
Tahun lepas.
Oh, lama tu. Okay, next question. Okay,
macam kita macam dah tak ada question.
Okay, alright. So let me just close the session. Thank you very much, UiTM, Dr. Nick, Najwa, Wan Arisha, been helping me with the arrangement and all that. The idea of this sharing that kami di pihak IRT actually really honoured, you know, to be able to share is that ada 3 perkara, Dr. Nick. Number 1, of course, it's about sharing our journey. Panjang, adalah beberapa lagi slide nak cerita journey kita. Mungkin kalau ada rezeki yang lain we can share waktu lain, tapi when you all pergi datang ke KL ke Klang Valley ke semua sekali kan, boleh nampak public transportation. Really appreciate it kalau you all can take a moment and look beyond apa yang ada depan. Of course lah, kadang-kadang bus tak sampai or train tak sampai, tak adalah kat depan kan, tapi a lot of things happening dekat belakang. In the planning part, belum lagi dalam nak cerita pasal operation and all that. A lot of discussion, a lot of thoughts put into providing this service. Not only environmental sustainability, but also in terms of social equity, financial sustainability. So tugas kerajaan especially lah nak balancekan semua ni, and somehow dia punya outcome dia berbeza-beza. Kadang-kadang elok, kadang-kadang tak sampai objektif dia. So what we are doing di Iskandar Malaysia, we are, in a way, saya dan rakan-rakan, we are putting our neck on the chopping block. Sebab ini adalah project perintis, a pilot project of a full-fledged BRT system in the country. Okay, so we've been challenged by so many parties, technical agency ataupun the kementerian at the state level, even the rakyat been challenging us because they have seen many attempts before tak menjadi, tak kira lah kan, tak sampai. So it is also a challenge for us. So kita memang, me and my team memang kita try to innovate lah in all those areas yang saya mention tadi. That's number one. For you to appreciate what's going on behind the bus or the train system, that's number one. Number two, okay, kita semua we are still a learning punya environment, yeah. And I was made to understand that you are under operations management, betul? Operations management, yeah. Well, in dalam kami punya design dan juga interaction and all that, pendapat dari pelbagai ideas dari pelbagai bidang. Kita ada urban planners, kita ada macam-macam lah kan, nak design benda ni. So you learn this area, you graduated, probably you will graduate in this area, you do you. But when you want to solve or come up with the best system nanti, then I pun cerita dekat my team juga, kita rasa kita dah hebat dah sebenarnya kan, tapi when we duduk dengan group environment, when we duduk dengan group yang jaga, like macam saya cakap Irda tadi kan, yang jaga social well-being of the people, so we take those input seriously to make sure kita punya solution ni wholesome lah. So you do your best in whatever area that you are doing now, you're studying now, but bila nak propose solution nanti, be prepared to accept all the other input juga, so that you tahu lah, bukan senang kan. Okay, the third message nak cerita sini ialah come to Johor bila dah siap nanti, mungkin dalam 2025. Okay, come to Johor, enjoy the trip nanti. Hopefully you will remember lah satu dua perkara yang kita share hari ni. So thank you so much, Dr. Nick, lecturers and advisors kat UiTM, all students kat UiTM. Thank you for indulging us, sharing our experience and journey malam ni. Ada apa-apa salah dan silap, kami minta maaf. Kalau ada masa lagi, kita sambung di lain hari. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rudyanto, for a great Q&A session. Before we end our session, all participants requested to turn on your camera for a photo session with Mr. Rudyanto Azhar, VIPs and invited guests. Boleh ya semua?
Ready guys? 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Please start. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
All cooperation is greatly appreciated. Thank you, everyone. I want to express our deepest gratitude to Mr. Rudyanto Azhar for being here with us and being a panel on our webinar. May Mr. Rudyanto and tips with barakah and afiah. Stay safe and stay healthy. Now it comes to an end of our webinar, Collaborative Teaching Innovation for Sustainable Operation by Iskandar Malaysia. Audience are requested to scan the QR code displayed on screen for attendance and feedback form. You can also find the link on chat box. E-certificate shall be provided to those who submitted the attendance and feedback form.
Terima kasih sekali lagi Encik Rudyanto and also IRDA staff. Terima kasih banyak.
Sama-sama.
InsyaAllah ada rezeki boleh jumpa lagi. Actually ketua
Terima
projek
kasih.
orang Johor ni.
Orang Johor.
Projek orang Johor yang baca doa tadi pun orang Johor rasanya kan.
Aduh, patutlah. Sekolah agama kat Johor tu.
Okay. Thank you very much Encik Rudyanto. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you. Okay, stay safe.
Okay, thank you too.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
Bunga dedap di atas para, anak dusung pasang pelita. Kalau tersilap, tutup bicara, cemari disusun, maaf dipinta. If there is any shortcoming during our webinar, I humbly apologize in that the good comes from the Almighty and the bad comes from us. Once again, I am Nur Najwa binti Muhammad Kamal as the moderator for this webinar. Would like to express my deepest gratitude to Mr. Rudyanto for his useful knowledge and advice throughout our webinar. Million thanks to all VIPs, guests, and participants for attending our webinar. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much. Majlis bersurai.
Terima kasih Dr. Nik. Terima kasih Dr. Wan. Terima kasih Puan Zuraida. Tuan
Okay, terima
Zaid.
kasih semua. Tahniah.
Terima kasih Dr.
Terima kasih.
Okay, beransur dulu.